Hi and welcome to Happy Fisherman Adventures.
I hope, I dream, I wish to catch a big fish, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman. In today's video, guys, we got something special. Ben and his dad were actually on a mission. They were catching King George whiting. They recorded themselves. What happened?
Gave it a go for the first time filming, which was nice, and I don't know, come up okay. So, but yeah.
Well, the new generation of happy fishermen. So, what did you catch?
Caught King George whiting today, and a bit of bycatch, a bit of goatfish, bit of bait, which is nice. So yeah, it was good.
And strangely enough, I watched the video obviously because when we edited, you were catching them on squid.
Yeah, squid strips today. No pippies or any of that stuff. So squid strips that we caught the other week, and then yeah.
Well, you're gonna say they started obviously by fishing around St. Leonard's. They started early. They moved a few times. They had some bycatch. But on the end, they end up with a nice bag of King George whiting. So let's watch the first video.
This adventure comes from the 31st of May 2025 when me and Dad headed out Queenscliff in search of King George whiting in our local fishery. In this video I'm chopping up small strips of squid so the bait is well presented in the tide. Here I have my mashed up pilchards in a burley bucket to go straight down to the bottom. Then once it hits the bottom, I tie it off before giving it a good pull in the water column to get those pilchards flowing throughout the current. As you can see here, the tide is ripping, and that is perfect for King George whiting in this local area. As you can see, Dad's rigging up the rods, and I'm getting the camera gear ready as well as mine. Dad has the first fish on here, and as you can see, it is an undesirable species, the leather jacket. You got to watch out for the second spike on these things as they can be dangerous. As you can see, I'm onto the first whiting of the day in this video. Quite happy as it is a sign to a good start for the day. As you can see here, the whiting is quite good size, and in this nice clean water the fillets are awesome. Well, along with the whiting on these weed beds you get plenty of other species. This one in particular was a small Australian salmon, which are awesome gummy bait for our local fishery. Also, I'm winding up the slack because whenever a whiting bite hits, you need to make sure you are tight with the fish, as using long shanks don't hook the fish themselves. And the bite today for the first part seemed to be only on my side. Must have been where I positioned the boat when we anchored. This here is a red goatfish. They are a great sign that you're on the right area for whiting, but in this case here I was moving on to try and find a better school of fish, as this particular one was not feeding as well as I'd like. You can see Dad in the last clip checking for weed beds on the side as the water was quite clear today. The belly bucket goes down and we mash up the pilchards to try and get that scent rolling again. Well, that spot wasn't awesome, so we're moving again and rechecking our pilchards to get that scent rolling. As you can see here, it's a funny situation. Dad had tangled his rod on the line, and right as I put mine in the rod holder, mine took off with an excellent King George whiting. This fish was angry. They are quite slippery when you're trying to hold on to them. As you can see here, I had to use my t-shirt to try and get a hold of the scales. Rod goes back in the holder and fish goes in the esky, and we are ready for the next bite.
Well, as we saw in the first video, they actually moved a few times.
Yeah, we had to make a few moves to try and find the fish because they were a little bit patchy at the start, but yeah, ended up being all right.
Did Burley help?
Burley did help. We chopped up small little pilchard cubes and then we mashed them up in the burley bucket, and every time we moved, made a small mash up to get that scent rolling, and yeah, straight down to the bottom.
That obviously bring other fish around as well.
Yeah, it brings some of your more goatfish and salmon and obviously your toadies and leather jackets and stuff, but the whiting are always out the back there in the sand holes, and that's where you cast. So
let's watch the second video.
Well, as you can see, we've made another move and bang, the fish is straight on again. Poor Dad on his side of the boat was struggling to wind in fish at this point, but as you can see, we are on a second time on my side. Sometimes that's just the way it goes. Well, squid strip back on, and we throw it straight back to the same area as whiting always feed in the same sand hole. As you can see today, I was using my Shimano Zodius 4 to 8 pound 7-foot rod with a 2500 size Vanford and 10 pound braid. This is my favourite whiting setup of choice. And just like that, another fish. Well, just like that, we were making another move to try and find this patch of whiting as they were not firing the last spot again. Sun was getting a little bit bright at this point as it was heading down, so Dad decides to put on his sunnies so we can visibly see the sand holes we're casting into. As you can see here, we're chopping up on some more bait. I cut my squid strips about 1 inch long and 5 to 10 mil wide. This flows the best in the water column, and the whiting can munch it and still get hooked well. You can see in that clip there, Dad flicks to the back of the boat where that sand hole was to try and get amongst the action. As this was the start of winter, it was starting to get a little bit colder as the sun went down, so the jumper went on. And here we can see Dad onto a snook. This is awesome bait for our snapper in our bay, and especially gummies in the bay as well. As you can see here, I was a little bit annoyed as I just missed another whiting. Just like that, we're moving again to try and find these school of fish. As you can see, the sunset was beautiful tonight.
Well, as it got darker, the action got hotter.
Fish fired up, which was nice. We managed to find a nice bite, nice sand hole, and yeah, they fed well, which was great.
Well, it was tough at the beginning, didn't it?
It was very tough. We only managed a few fish at the start, but got the most of our bag in this clip here. So
Let's watch the next video.
Well, it's hitting the sunset and this is our time to shine. Straight away, we're onto a whiting. Tonight we were pretty happy with the size of the fish, as the bigger the better. And we're straight back into it again. As soon as the rods went into the water, the bait was taken and the fish were on. You can see Dad letting his line out to make the sinker hit the bottom, as that is essential for catching these whiting. And Dad has finally come to the party here with his first whiting of the day. Well, the fish had really turned it on for us at this point, as the sun had started to go down, the weather was beautiful, and we were into some quality Southern King George whiting. Well, the pliers had to come out on this one because the fish had swallowed that hook, and just like that, I was hooked on and it was Dad's turn to video me. Dad was standing quite close to me in this video and was pretty much only getting my head, so I had to push him back so we could get some half decent film. Just like that, another King George whiting. In this video you can see the actual whiting jumping onto the line and how Dad sets the hook and brings the fish in. He gets a little bit tangled around the camera rod, which is our temporary camera stand for the day, as this was our first time filming, obviously. And that's another one to the bag. Well, another fish to the bag, and as you can see, we're straight back into the action as this bite is extremely hot. The leader of choice today was Shimano Oshia 10 pound fluorocarbon. As you can see, Dad is trying to get a first person's view of the fishing at this point by putting his phone right in my face as I'm trying to catch the fish. Well, that's it. So we put all the whiting to the scaler bag and drive it 10 to 15 kilometers an hour to get the scales off and roll the water through. We were quite happy with our catch today, as it wasn't quite a bag, but it was a good effort. Well, now the filleting part. We fillet all our fish at the ramp because we can throw the fish scraps straight back to the pelicans, who enjoy it very much. Well, as you can see, we're either extremely fast at filleting, or this could be a time lapse of us filleting our whiting at the end of the session, as we like to fillet them, put them in a pile, and then we like to take the bones out and then put them in bags and give them a good clean when we get home. Well, fishing for me and Dad is a great way that we like to spend time with each other on the water, catching fish, but also just having a good time. We like it when Mum comes along too occasionally if the water's still enough, and we all enjoy a great feed of fish at the end of it. Well, by the end of today, me and Dad were both happy fishermen.
Well, as you can see, I'm on my own. Mima went with Chiquita at her mum's. Obviously, Chiquita to see the puppies. Puppies grown up, they're big at the moment, they're cute as. And yeah, unfortunately, I just come from work and I had to jump on computer so I can finish this episode. In continuation, this next couple videos you're gonna see, it's actually from last week, and it's me, Mima, and John Loneranger. We went offshore and it was foggy. We believed the fog will, half an hour or whatever, it's going to lift, but it took a while. And then we had this pocket where the actual fog lifted up, everything was clear, and about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, came back on. So it was time to run. So let's watch the first video of this adventure. Where are we going?
Well, on this glorious morning, lots of fog, but I believe it's going to be a lovely sunny day. We're going to go out offshore and see if we can find maybe a tuna, maybe a mako, maybe some salmon, maybe some snapper, who knows. But if you're not on the water, you don't catch fish.
Well, as you can see here, we started early and it's foggy. It's not too early, it's about 9 o'clock in the morning, and we were hoping that once we get at Ocean Grove, the fog would disappear. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. In this adventure, it's me, Mima, John Loneranger and Chiquita. And our mission was to go offshore and try to get some gummy, snapper, nanogoi, or anything else that's on the offer. In these kind of situations, we have to navigate slow. Safety has to be the priority. Unfortunately, I don't have a radar on my boat, so everyone that's in the boat have to keep eyes everywhere, all around us, because you never know the surprise you may get. So as you can see here, we actually went under the bridge, we got to the restaurant, and the fog was thick as. Our destination today was 50-meter line straight out of Barwon Heads. Most of the times over there I get nanogoi, I get pinkies. Sometimes, summertime obviously, we get some big slimy mackerel, we get salmon, and of course January, February we even get kingfish here. But saying that, today we were hoping for some gummy shark, some big school shark, nanogoi, pinkies, whatever. While me and John were setting up, Mima was already on a fish. And this time it was a little bit promising because it felt a little bit heavy for that rod that she's using. And we were hoping that's gonna be a good snapper or good nanny, so let's have a look. Well, already a good sign. We had a nanogoi. Also, we had a barber perch here. And I have to say, barber perch, there is plenty of them around. Barber perch is actually a small fish, pinkish orangey color. They're not bad to eat actually, they're really nice to eat, but they somehow too small. They make great snapper bite, and when you are offshore, it's actually not too bad to catch a couple and use them as a fresh bait. As I just managed to put the cameras around and obviously getting all the stuff ready, Mima was catching fish after fish. She got a barber perch, she got a nanny, she got a kuta, more barber perch, and of course when you're offshore you drift over a spot, so you have to go back over and over again. In the meantime, even John started catching some barber perch. Most of them we return back, but as I said before, some of them we keep because they make a really good bait. Then, not long, we actually had our first pinky on board. Now, you can see me here using the net, as the line that Mima's using is only 8 pounds. So obviously, we don't want to just lift them up. The pinkies, the biggest one we got, was only about 1 kilo. They were not big fish, but still, it's a pinky. They were all over 33, 35 centimeters, and some of them just over 40. Then, not long after, Mima gets a Sergeant Baker. Now this fish is not that nice to eat, and funny enough, we didn't see many of these fish around this area. Normally we got them around like Centrons and that side, but lately we see quite a bit of them just in front of Barwon Heads. As I used the dehooker to get rid of that Sergeant Baker, I could see on the other side that John had a big fish on. First this fish took a bit of line, then John managed to actually bring it up somehow to mid-water. We had to actually rip every other line out of the water because it started to get all tangled, and we were hoping we're not gonna lose this fish. As you've seen in the first video, Mima actually caught quite a few fish. Now, John, he tried hard, but John was after bigger fish. And we had one online, but unfortunate things do happen. Let's watch the next video. 10 minutes in and we're still on this fish. Definitely John was in control, but this fish was quite stubborn and just kept going, peeling some line. Then we managed to retrieve some back, then he done it again, and at this stage I think the fish got a little bit tired. So we actually managed to see some color, and we knew it's not gonna be long before we actually land this fish. Well, I was watching, Mima was watching, John was using his muscles. Then this fish decided to do some circles and he started going towards the engine. So we had to start the engine, and as we did that, he just started peeling line like crazy. He took off like not tomorrow. So no time, he bit the hook. When things like this happen, there is nothing you can do. The actual leader was about 120 pounds, and the fish managed to actually bite right through it. So we end up getting the swivel back and just about half a meter of our leader back. The rest was all gone. While we were resetting everything, Mima managed to get some gurnet. Now gurnet, it's actually a really nice fish to eat, but you have to really watch how you handle it, because if you get spiked, you may end up in hospital. The spikes on gurnet are really poisonous, and it's the worst pain you can experience. It is a disaster. Lots of people say that actually flathead spike, it's really painful. It's nothing like the gurnet. It is a shocking pain. It's 10 times worse. Saying that, as you can see, we actually managed a few flatheads as well, and one of them was actually really nice. Then, in meantime, John decided to catch us another pinky. This pinky tangled our lines a little bit, but doesn't matter. Saying that, we actually, when we came home, cooked the pinky, cooked the nanny and the flathead. And we have to be honest, the nanny was superb. Flathead, very good. Pinky,
Well, whilst we've got a reasonable collection of fish so far, our drift is far too fast and our boats are coming well off the bottom, so we're going to use the old trusty sea anchor. And we'll just see how good Tibby's sea anchor is in a minute.
sea anchor, or so-called parachute, is actually made to slow your drift. If you're drifting too fast, not just offshore, even when you chase squid, one of these gadgets will help you heaps. As you can see, definitely works. In meantime, the fog came back and it started to get thicker and thicker, so it was time for us to get the hell out of there. Well, we did spend some time in Lake's entrance and we filmed all around Lake Tyres, so we're going to share with you guys that most likely next week. But thanks again for watching, thanks again for your support, and we'll see you next time.
I hope, I dream, I wish to catch a big fish, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman, and I do